The views and opinions on the Craig L. Hayes Show do not necessarily reflect those of Westgate Resort ownership or management. And now, on with the show.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 7 years ago. Stand by the roll show intro. Roll show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hello, America, family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show, and I am Craig L. Hayes. And today is the 25th, I believe, of October 2024. And today we're continuing our shows on entertainment, backstage, and what goes on backstage to make a show happen here in Las Vegas or in various parts of the country. But we are doing this show again, like we've done so many, from the Westgate Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we're in the basement of the International Showroom in Elvis Presley's dressing room. And right next door to us is Barry Manilow's private dressing room. The Westgate has given me permission to do these shows from Elvis's dressing room, and I appreciate Cammie Christensen, Don Rawl, and John Peer for working with me and letting me do these shows, and I so appreciate it. It's a very unique experience to be able to do that from such a legendary property in Elvis's dressing room. So with that, we're going to continue talking about entertainment. Now, last other shows, we've talked about what stagehands do, lighting, sound guys, carpenters, etc. And we talked about convention work yesterday with Tom Porter, all the different things that they do in video and projection and such. Today is going to be a day of wardrobe. We're going to get to the people who work so hard keeping costumes, keeping apparel, keeping everything that makes a performer look so well out on stage and professional. We're going to talk to someone I have worked for about 38 years, as we were trying to remember. And her name is Gail Brumbaugh. Gail, welcome to the show.
Hi.
It's so good to have you here and get you on the show and have a little chat with you. Now, you don't need to be nervous. Everything's all okay. Everything's good.
Okay.
She's not used to talking into a microphone. She can make up anything on a sewing machine like you can't believe, but she's a little nervous having a microphone in her face, which I don't blame her. Most people don't like that. But we've worked together for so long, but like I start off with most of the guests, we talk a little bit about, where they came from, how they got here to Las Vegas, and how they got into show business. So with that, Gail, why don't you tell us just a little bit about your family and how long you've been here in Las Vegas, and how it was that you got into the business of show, as we call it.
Well, my parents came here from Michigan when I was less than a year old. My dad was a carpenter, and he worked at the test site building the towns that they would blow up for the atomic bomb. And so I've been here like 74 years. And I didn't get into wardrobe until I worked at the union office as a secretary. And at the time, they needed dressers because they had just opened Jubilee after the fire, and they needed 30 dressers to go out every night and help dress. And since I was in the office and the dispatcher was there, he'd say, "Please go out. I want to go home, and I need bodies out there." Because I told him, I said, "I don't sew. I'm not interested in wardrobe." My sister was, but that's about it. That's how I got out there. And I first worked at the Hacienda, the old ice show, Spice on Ice, and Stardust. And then I went to the Hacienda for a couple years.
Nice. So, but your dad, he got into the union obviously before you did, and then you started working at the hall, right? Doing the receptionist stuff, working.
Oh yeah, he
such in
was
the office.
he worked at the Tropicana and the Stardust in the 50s, and I didn't get in until 74, 73, 74. And like I said, I went to the Hacienda and the Jubilee, and then I went over to Splash, and which was an exciting show.
Yeah.
And then I came to the Hilton, and then you came over from the Hacienda, from the Riviera also. So we worked together here for 31 years.
Yeah, we've been here a while, so, and that's for sure. Your dad, I remember him at the Caesar's Palace.
Yes, he was the head prop man there from when it opened until I think it was like 25 years later when he passed away. So, yeah, he had his own little room in the back. He was the head props, and he built, props for the TV shows and stuff that would come in there, and worked the shows also.
That was a busy room. They had a lot of work going on there.
Yeah, he was hardly ever home.
Yeah. Well,
and he'd come home and his feet were killing him. He had to, put his feet up, and
well, that's the life.
He loved it. Yeah.
That's the life of showbiz, as we all understand. Is it takes an awful lot on you. It wears you out a little bit. So it's a very demanding mistress, as I would tell my kids. It's very demanding. Demands everything: your time, your blood, sweat, tears, everything. But it's a great career. It's wonderful to be in it. So your actual first job, not at the hall working at the front desk, receptionist and all that, was at the Hacienda? Or was that?
Yeah, I went out a couple of calls, the Stardust and the Tropicana, the Folies Bergère and the Lido de Paris. And there was an ice show at the Hacienda. I worked there about a year or two, and then when Jubilee opened up after the fire at the MGM, I was there for like 3 years. That's a hard show. That was a big, hard show to work.
Big pieces, big, everything in that show was huge.
Yes,
Yeah.
the back pieces were gigantic, and
Yeah, we have a lot in common on that because I was on the crew that built that show. Never worked the show. I never saw the show in 35 years that it ran. Nothing on that show, but I was on the crew that built that, and then it went over there and got smoked damage from the fire, and it all came back, and we had to fix everything and then send it back.
oh yeah, it was a big fire. People said they were running out the front door, and the fire was chasing them on the carpet because they had chemicals on the carpet, and it would be the fire would chase them right out the front door because it was following them.
That one, and then the fire here at the Hilton changed everything in this town on fire codes.
Oh yeah.
They changed everything and made these hotels the safest. Let's go into the 60s. I want to go back a ways into the 60s. You got to do something that so many people, probably wish they had the opportunity to do, who are huge fans today, and there's no way to ever go see it again. You actually went and saw the Beatles when they performed at the Rotunda next door to us right here at the convention center.
Yes, that was on August of 1964. And my dad had got some tickets from a cocktail waitress at Caesar's, and the tickets were like $4.40 to go see the Beatles. And me and a couple of my friends went, and you couldn't hear anything because everybody was screaming so much, and you couldn't see anything because it was black and flash bulbs going. But I was there. I still have my ticket stub too.
Well, I know that, see, we have another thing of where we've been a little bit close family-wise on that because my Uncle Gordon actually ran the sound on that concert.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was there, and he said the exact same thing. He goes, it doesn't matter what he did. Girls were screaming so loud for the whole show. You couldn't hear anything that the Beatles were doing. You couldn't hear, you couldn't hear them sing. You couldn't hear them play.
Yeah, the flash bulbs were going off, and it was a lot of screaming.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize it, but that's pretty much one of the reasons why the Beatles, they had other things going on, but that's why they broke it up and they quit touring and they went their separate ways. They weren't enjoying it because they're musicians and they love playing and making songs, but they couldn't hear what they were doing. They couldn't tell what they were doing. Ringo Starr would often say the only way he could keep rhythm is by watching Paul McCartney shake his butt, on the beat, and just he played along with Paul on the beat, and because he couldn't hear them play, he couldn't hear himself play, he couldn't hear anything.
You couldn't hear anything.
No.
But you were there, so it was very exciting.
And if you're a performer, the last thing you want to do is to not be able to hear yourself and enjoy what you're doing and presenting, and everything you do, all you hear is screaming.
It was loud.
Yeah. So my uncle had that same frustration on that, and it was kind of a waste of a concert. It's like, you girls just couldn't sit down and listen, then applaud, and then go sit back down, please.
Oh no, nobody was nobody was sitting. Everybody was up on their feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stayed at the Sahara Hotel, and that's where their hotel rooms were, and then they did 2 concerts, I think, that day. One in the afternoon and one in the evening. And like I said, I still have my ticket stub, and it was $4.40 to see them.
Which was a pretty fair price in '64.
Yeah.
That was not a cheap. You say $4.40. That was nothing. No, $4.40 in 1964 was a pretty good amount of money.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't expensive, but that was still probably equivalent to $100 today or more. So it was a fairly expensive ticket. I can't imagine what the Beatles would be today.
They're really
Beatles would
expensive. Not all 4 of them, but
if they were all 4, it'd be like $1,000 tickets minimum, to go see them. So,
yeah.
No, that's to me that's probably one of the coolest things is I've only met a couple people that were there. You and Ed McDonald.
Yeah.
Ed McDonald was working. He was one of the ushers there, like you were saying. But yeah, my uncle, Ed McDonald, and you. That's it. That's the only people I know that went and saw that show. So.
I know, and it was packed. It was the
And
old
packed.
Rotunda. It was.
Yeah.
They don't have that anymore.
No, and that wasn't even a big venue. That was like 5,000 seats. Back then it was a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
But now they build these places, and they're all 18 to 20,000, and now they built a Legion at 65,000.
Wow.
And these acts are filling every one of them. And they're charging hundreds of dollars a ticket for 65,000 people. So just imagine that kind of money. You're talking some serious money coming into that place. So, well, that's cool. You got to do that, and then how old were you when you started working out at the hall and as a receptionist?
About 24, 23, 24.
Okay, well, that's going to be our next thing we're going to get into and talk about. I can't remember when we started this thing. I usually like doing, like I told you, like 20, 25-minute episodes, and I can't remember if we started at 5 after or 10 after. We'll do 5 more minutes, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
But let's just talk about working out the hall. And so, as a receptionist, you got to meet an awful lot of characters.
Well, yeah.
Coming in and out of
Stagehands, yeah.
And I know you got to meet my grandfather many times coming in and out of there because he was one of the guys that helped 720 become what 720 is.
I think he was a charter member, wasn't he?
He wasn't the charter. 39 was the charter. He got here in 41.
Oh,
But his deal was he was the one that went down and negotiated in 1946 the first stagehand contract with Bugsy Siegel.
oh, wow.
He went down there and had a chat with Bugsy, and they sat down and he said, "Hey, you've got a showroom here, you got a lounge, you got all these things going on here. I have guys that can come in there and run the lights and the sound and take care of the stage and take care of all your entertainment facilities." And I'm from Local 720, and at that time it was just a projection local. It wasn't
Yes.
it wasn't a full-blown mixed local with stagehands and everything else. And that's what turned us into a mixed local when they shook hands on it and started sending people down there to work at the Flamingo. So
Yeah, then I heard they started bringing in their wives in to do any wardrobe things, so that's how the wardrobe department started, just the guys bringing in their wives because they had nothing else to do at home, so.
yeah, just keep growing the business, keep making it happen, keep expanding our reach as far as work goes. That's what we're supposed to do as union people.
Yeah.
Keep finding more ways to get more of our fellow members to get to work. So on the next episode, I'd like to go into actually doing the wardrobe and a little bit about you've talked a little bit about the places you worked. Let's talk about each one of them a little bit and what the shows were and what you had to do on those shows. Because it may sound like, oh, do wardrobe. Oh, I sew up something and I put it on a performer. But every show is different. From like Splash, these big
Oh,
old costumes.
Yeah,
of
that
weird
was something.
sea urchin things around the stage.
The fish, yeah.
So everything's got a little bit different take on it and a little different spin. So, all right, so that is episode 1, and we're going to move on in just a second to episode 2, and we'll talk more about Gail Brumbaugh from the International Showroom, Elvis Presley's dressing room. Talbot, what do you have to say?
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
See, that wasn't so hard, was it?
I get excited and I'm going to say words before the other words, and I'm like, nothing.